incredibly cack-handed.
So UKIP, which is a tough campaign, has the row over social care, has it helped?
I totally disagree with what Michael and Alan are saying. You're right in a sense, it is about inheritance. But I'm a mum, I'm not a wealthy woman. My daughter's in a job which pays less than the average wage. She's very passionate about it. You know, I want to be able to leave her something when she goes. I've paid taxes all my life, sometimes quite a lot of tax. You know, if I get dementia, then that is the only way in which I can be cared for, basically, is to be cared for and to be looked after in a home. And I'm expected somehow to pay for that, whereas if I had some other terminal condition, the NHS would pay.
Well, the NHS would pay for the operational side.
UKIP turns out to be a socialist party.
Well, I'm quite socialist, as you know, Michael. I'm criticised for my party for being a bit too socialist.
No, but I'm so glad you've admitted the central point, that it's nothing to do with the care of the elderly. It's all about the protection of the inheritance of the middle class.
I think it's about care of it's
about the
both.
extension of the welfare state to protect the middle class.
The reason I think there was such an outcry about it was quite rightly that there are so many young people now in this country whose only hope of actually getting on the housing ladder is when they are left something by their parents.
But what about all the people who don't have that hope?
And for the cabinet ministers to stand up and say £100,000 is quite enough. Well, I bet they wouldn't be very happy if they could
to turn that around,
£100,000 to their children. They've probably got some complicated, expensive trust deal to leave them.
But let's say the cap on spending on adult social care is 35,000. That's what Dilmore
suggested,
right?
Yeah.
35,000. The person who is a multi-millionaire will pay 35,000, and the person who is just about managing, to coin a phrase, will pay 35,000. What's socialist and fair about that?
And the multi-millionaire who's also paid, one hopes, unless they've managed to evade it somehow, paid a huge amount of tax as well, and they paid for it. You know, this idea that just because you're wealthy means that you cannot therefore fall back on the state, I think is.
But why should if you?
The state is there to protect the wealthy.
The wealthy
this is really weird.
The wealthy have paid their way, Michael.
No, they also deserve to be subsidised by the state.
It's why also UKIP saying in its manifesto we're protecting the triple lock-on pensions, we're protecting the winter fuel allowance for everybody, because we think that whether you've contributed or not is irrelevant.
You may well have the right populist policy, but your position,
the right policy.
But your position is intellectually indefensible.
No, I absolutely disagree.
Well, you would disagree because you're onto a populist policy.
Why should taxpayers fare better than those who haven't?
Well, but why should taxpayers
That's
pay?
not the way around it, is it?
Hold on. Why should taxpayers pay for your social care if you're sitting on multi-million-pound assets?
Well, I mean, at the moment we have a system, don't we, where people do have to sell their houses to pay for care. But what Theresa May did, and what this particular,
they can defer.
Well, they can defer it, but it's, you know, what she was doing was actually turning around a manifesto pledge.
No, I wasn't asking about that. I was asking you. Well, let me ask the question again. Why should ordinary taxpayers, a lot less wealthy than you, pay for your social care if you are sitting on multi-million-pound assets that could pay for that social care?
Excuse me, you're still making it too easy. They're not paying for the social care.
Michael always likes to make it much harder for me.
They're paying for people's inheritance. So people who earn more than £10,000 a year, so people who earn £11,000 and £12,000, they're being asked to pay taxes so that people who are aged 50 and 60 can inherit all they're expected to inherit from their parents who have £2 million and £3 billion.
You're already paying a huge amount in inheritance tax on already taxed income. Yes, you are. It's already far too high. I mean, that's another, you know, we would like to abolish inheritance tax as well. We think.
But anyway, don't avoid the issue.
Well,
why should people on £11,000 of income pay to protect the inheritance of people who have millions?
Because they too eventually will have to rely on that same care and that same need. I think it's the job of the state. We pay our taxes. It's our job to look after people.
You're 2% in the polls.
Look, last time I looked, we were 4.
Well, things could only get better. How's the campaign going?
Well, I think it's, as I say, it's really got started today with the manifesto.
Why
launch.
did you
We
take
plan
so
to
long
have
to
it.
get the manifesto out?
Well, we planned to have it yesterday. and then
Right,
we delayed
exactly.
it
Why
for-
did you
for
take so
24
long?
Hours. I think originally
you a
it was
slow
planned
writer?
for Tuesday. I'm quite a fast writer,
So-
but there's also Paul's, our leader's diary to consider as well. So that definitely came into it. I would have quite liked to have got it out a little bit earlier.
What would-
but
You're a busy
today
fellow.
was
What would
the
success look
earliest
like
time that we could.
in this election for you?
I think I'd like to see our vote share hold up. I think there are a couple of seats where we could get a member of parliament. We've had people working
Which
very
ones are
hard on the
these?
ground. Well, we've got Tim Aker, who's standing in Thurrock. I think he's
It's a long shot, isn't it?
he's very hard-working, Tim, and he's got a very good reputation there. He's as well known, if not better known, than the local MP. So we're very hopeful.
Paul Nuttall
And,
in Boston.
Yes, again, you know, we came a very, very close second in 2015. So I've not been up to Boston
Paul
yet
didn't.
to campaign. I'm hoping
Paul
to
got
get up
slaughtered
there.
in Bootle.
Mr. Corbyn says that he only ever supported the peace process, not the IRA. What do you say to that?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's been saying that for a long time.
You are a splendid fellow.
Anything else you'd care to add, Mr. Johnson?
The peace process was because the IRA had recognised that the bullet wasn't going to get them.
And partly, by the
to
way, just going
United
back to the
Ireland.
intelligence point, partly because they were so riddled with
Infiltrated.
British
Yes,
agents
absolutely.
that they could not go on.
All right, well, the campaign's back in full swing tomorrow, and you'll all be looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.